Good afternoon to you. Mark Sutton of HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane Outlook and discussion for September 21st, 2016. Let's take a look at what's happening out there, or in the case of Karl here, what's not happening. The system's still rather disheveled. Strong upper-level winds. It can't consolidate itself. All kinds of problems associated with this system. And as such, it is a tropical depression, not even a tropical storm. In fact, Lisa over here is stronger than Karl, and this was, supposed to be the weaker of the two for the most part. If we take a look at the satellite animation of Karl this afternoon and Lisa, you can tell maybe the center of circulation still intact right in here somewhere. Just for reference, here is Bermuda. It looks like, and even the forecast track showing this coming around and moving well to the south and east of Bermuda, so really no problems. Hopefully this will crank up for the sake of the surfing community over here, even in Puerto Rico and vicinity. Let's get this thing going. If it's not going to hit land, send some nice waves towards the southeast United States and other areas where surfers can conglomerate along the coast and enjoy the waves, right? I mean, why not? If it's going to take heat out of the ocean and out of the tropics, at least it can provide some recreational activities for our fellow surfers out there. Certainly have to be careful in those kinds of waves, but hey, surfing is fun. I've never done it. I've seen it. It's just not for me. And I've seen people enjoying it, so maybe, just maybe, as this rounds the corner here, it can crank up somewhere in this vicinity, leaving Bermuda alone, of course. That would be nice, too, and then send out some of those swells towards the east coast and beyond. Again, maybe even the greater Antilles, the north-facing coastlines of Puerto Rico through Cuba, etc., so people can enjoy a few sets as they come in. So what is the problem with this system? Well, generally, again, this sort of long elliptical shape to it, not really able to bundle the energy. It has been battling strong shear and drier air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere throughout this region. It just really hasn't had a chance to get itself together. Meanwhile, here is Lisa, a very large system, but same kind of thing, strong upper-level winds blowing over the top of it, not allowing it to develop as quickly as it normally would. This too will move very fast. I don't know if necessarily fast, but it'll more than likely head out to sea and staying out there well away from land areas. So not much of a concern from Lisa. Looking at the what I like to refer to as the X-ray here. It's not an X-ray. It's the, I don't know exactly how they derive this. I should look that up sometime. But it is the 850 millibar relative vorticity product. And that's a fancy way of saying, in layman's terms, how much spin is in the atmosphere, vorticity. So think of a skater pulling their arms in and they spin faster and faster. That's called the conservation of angular momentum. And so the more that the energy is focused around that common point, and the more round the skater can make his or herself, the faster they will spin. And it looks beautiful on the ice, and it looks beautiful in nature, as long as it stays away from land, right? And so that being said, when you have sort of an oval shape here, spread out over a fairly large area, that's not indicative of a healthy system, and therefore you have an L for a loser. Not really, that's the tropical depression symbol, but you get the joke. It's just not doing very well. On the other hand, Lisa over here, overachieving a little bit, more round in appearance, still kind of a teardrop shape, and then you have to wonder, what is this little piece of energy doing over here? But overall, this has a better signature. And then, what is all this going on here? The leftovers, believe it or not, of Julia interacting with this upper trough that's moved through the region, and I will show you some of the results of that in just a moment. In fact, let's do it now. So I'm trying something new with the way this is presented to get rid of the toolbar up on the top until I need it. So here we have a look. There's the low pressure area associated with Julia, the remnants of that system, and then the fetch of moisture coming into northeast North Carolina, southeast Virginia, the Tidewater area, and up along the Albemarle. Very heavy rainfall in that region throughout the last 12 to 24 hours, and this is what the radar shot looks like. Still just piling it in up in this area. A good deal of the, again, the Albemarle Sound region of North Carolina, parts of I-95 through here, and then southeast Virginia, Hampton Roads area from Emporia, where I-95 is. I think I can find it right in here. And then on east, down 58 into the Tidewater, Chesapeake area. Horrible flooding up here. Not nearly what we saw down in Louisiana. I don't want to make it sound like it's anywhere comparable to that, but it has been certainly nuisance enough. I want to show you some pictures sent and shared by Wendale, who lives up in the Edenton area. Appreciate him posting these on Facebook and allowing me to share them. So this is the Edenton area of North Carolina. Again, we're not seeing water 3 or 4 feet into homes, which is great, but this is problematic. Schools have been closed down in some of the areas, making life difficult for people to get around. You see lots of water, a foot in some areas, 1.5 feet in others. And you're just looking around. That right there, that's a park bench. And the water is almost up to the very bottom of the park bench. And so, it's just a problem. And when these systems come in and stall out and mill around, they still have all that energy, the very warm water of the western Atlantic. I just want to use this as an example that, rainfall in and of itself can be problematic. And when you look at this, you think about this traffic coming through here. This is not a sinkhole. This is just where probably a culvert or something gave way due to the rapid movement of the water. It's fairly flat in this area. It isn't very hilly terrain-wise. But, you're coming along and you think, I can get across that. I've got a truck or an SUV or whatever. And boom, down into the collapsed roadway you go. And then all sorts of problems can ensue. So all of that, courtesy of what was once 93L, came across, danced around in the Bahamas, did all that milling around, whatever, came up, and now it's sitting this way. Just craziness. This stuck in the pattern, and it's not going anywhere fast, unfortunately. All right, so moving on along, this is the shot of pretty much the entire northern part of the continent of Africa through here. And there's Lisa, there is Karl. And then this is the energy right here that we'll be watching very closely. A lot of chatter about it starting to show up on the hurricane blogosphere, the internet, Twitter, social media, chat rooms, etc., social, message boards. That's the word I'm looking for. And, that maybe this is going to develop into something over the next few days. I showed this yesterday. Not much energy or vorticity associated with it, kind of linear in nature, but this should move off fairly far to the south, a low latitude running system. And over time, again, the GFS ensembles, this coming product here from tropicaltidbits.com, showing sort of the density of development down here of the various ensemble members of the GFS. And you can see that still indicating the possibility of development somewhere in the Caribbean Sea, maybe before that. So, as I said yesterday, my best advice, folks here in the Windward and Leeward Islands, especially the southern Windward Islands here, including Trinidad, Tobago, Barbados, just keep an eye on it. It's been several years since we've had a major threat. I can't even think of the last one off the top of my head, to the southern Windward Islands. And we remember back in years, certainly Ivan came through the region in 2004, but we're talking 12 years ago. Lily, 14 years ago in 2002. So, it's been a while. So you guys down here, I know a lot of you watch the videos on YouTube or in our app. Keep a wary eye to the east. Nothing to be concerned with, so to speak, just yet. But it is getting to the point where these tropical waves will come off at a lower latitude, and there are still a few more of them left over Africa that we need to watch over the coming weeks. And with all of this very, very warm water, compared to normal in many places, it's quite a bit above normal. It's still very much hurricane season. So the southeast Caribbean, and then eventually maybe beyond there, maybe nothing will happen at all. But the signs are starting to show up, and it's amazing. You think about this. I just want to end today's discussion with this thought. Here we are, possibly a week to 10 days out from something developing that could have an impact on people, and we are at least getting the signs of that ahead of time. Isn't that a good thing? People talking about it, it gets people aware, paying attention, instead of something popping up in this very busy world of 24-hour news cycles with all the politics and the this and the that going on to distract you. If you're tuned into the weather, as long as people make sense of it and don't blow it out of proportion, and I certainly tried to not do that here, then being aware is a great thing, because then you can be ready if something comes your way. So just keep an eye on this system. I'll certainly be talking about it in the days ahead. Nothing to worry about right now. Looks like 5 to 7 days before something would develop and be of any concern, so there's plenty of time to watch it. But again, we're getting into that time of year where the season shifts out of the eastern Atlantic, as if it's been busy out there anyway, right? Towards the western Atlantic basin, and things can change in a hurry and be favorable for just 2 weeks, and we have a bad ending to the season. So we just need to stay aware. That's all I'm saying. All right, have a great rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com. I'll have more for you tomorrow.